Okay, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that feels like magic, but is actually just incredible engineering. We're going to explore the fascinating, split-second journey and the surprisingly rich history behind an internet miracle that, let's be honest, we all use every single day. Email.
Seriously, think about it for a second. We can fire off a message from a laptop in snowy Canada all the way to a smartphone in sunny Australia, and it literally gets there in the blink of an eye. We totally take it for granted. But today, we're going to unpack exactly how this invisible, globe-spanning infrastructure actually works behind the scenes.
Right, so to really appreciate this, we got to jump back to the 1960s. Back then, computers were absolute behemoths. They were incredibly expensive and literally filled up entire rooms. If you wanted to leave a message for a coworker, well, you had to save a text file on that exact same massive machine. The person you're trying to reach had to physically walk into the room and log into that very same computer just to read it. There was zero network communication. Now contrast that with the monumental breakthrough in 1971, when messages finally broke out of those single machine silos and traveled across a network of different computers.
Enter our hero, an American computer engineer named Ray Tomlinson. He was working on ARPANET, which was the U.S. Department of Defense's early precursor to the internet. Tomlinson cleverly mashed up a file transfer program with a local messaging program, and boom, he sent the very first network email. Was it some profound historical quote? Actually, no. He later admitted he couldn't even remember what it was. It was likely just keyboard mashing, something like QRTUIOP just to test if the system worked. The content didn't matter at all. The achievement was a total game changer. It proved that completely separate computers could talk to each other.
But Tomlinson hit a snag with routing. If there's a user named John on one computer and a totally different John on another, how does the system know which John gets the message? His solution was absolute genius. He just looked down at his keyboard and picked a character that almost nobody used in personal names, the @ symbol. It was perfect because it quite literally meant @. So, an address like john@example.com clearly and beautifully pointed out exactly which user was at which specific computer domain. With one simple keystroke, he created a worldwide standard that we still use billions of times a day.
And wow, did this idea spread like wildfire? In the 70s and 80s, email was mostly this niche, closed-off tool for universities and scientists. But then, the 1990s hit. The public internet exploded, and suddenly services like Hotmail and Yahoo Mail popped up, giving anyone a free account. Fast forward to today, and modern giants like Gmail have completely revolutionized the whole shebang, with massive storage and lightning-fast search, making email the undeniable backbone of our digital lives.
So, let's get into the anatomy of a send, that split-second journey. Let's say our sender, Alice, is messaging her friend Bob. The very next time you click send, remember that your email app is instantly doing some heavy lifting in the background. Step 1. It packages everything up. Your address, the recipient's address, the subject line, the text, attachments, all bundled into a strictly standardized format. Once it's neatly packaged, Step 2 kicks in, firing that data off to an outgoing mail server.
Now, this outgoing server speaks a very specific language called SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. You can think of SMTP as the Internet's postal service. Its entire job is to take your outgoing message, verify you're actually authorized to send it, and do a quick sanity check to make sure the destination address looks valid.
But here's the catch. SMTP doesn't just magically know where Bob's email server is located. It needs directions. So it checks the DNS, the domain name system, which is basically the internet's massive global phone book. The SMTP server flips through this digital directory looking for MX records or mail exchange records. These records pinpoint the exact receiving server responsible for handling email for Bob's specific domain.
Which brings us to the packet journey, zigzagging right across the globe.
This is where it gets wild. Your email doesn't travel as one big, solid letter. Nope, it's shattered into tiny, individual pieces called data packets. And get this, those packets don't even travel together. Depending on internet traffic, one packet might shoot through a fiber optic cable in New York, while another bounces through a router in London, taking completely different routes. Yet, thanks to those standardized protocols we talked about, they all miraculously arrive and perfectly piece themselves back together at Bob's server. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle assembling itself.
Next up, guarding the inbox with modern gatekeepers.
Before Bob can actually read his newly reassembled message, it has to survive a gauntlet of high-tech security checkpoints.
Look, because sending an email is virtually free, spammers figured out real quick they could abuse the system. To fight back, modern email providers are basically digital fortresses now. They use advanced AI to instantly scan every arriving packet. In just a fraction of a second, these gatekeepers check the sender's reputation, hunt for suspicious links, scan attachments for viruses, spot spam patterns, and block phishing attempts trying to steal your data.
Assuming Alice's message survives all those intense checks, it's finally safely tucked away in Bob's mailbox. Later on, when Bob opens the app on his phone, his device uses retrieval protocols, usually things called IMAP or POP3. These protocols are the final bridge, letting his device reach out, sync up, and pull that secure message directly onto his screen, even if he's thousands of kilometers away from Alice.
Finally, let's look at this everyday tech miracle and the sheer scale of email.
To truly wrap your head around the mind-boggling scale of Ray Tomlinson's invention over 50 years later, just look at this number. Hundreds of billions. That is the number of emails that are successfully routed, shattered into packets, perfectly reassembled, aggressively filtered by AI, and delivered globally every single day. It's literally the foundation for modern work, banking, online shopping, and human connection across the entire planet.
It really is an everyday tech miracle. The next time you hit send, just take a second to appreciate the insane, globe-spanning journey your message is about to take. It kinda makes you wonder, though. As our digital footprint grows heavier by the second, how much larger can this invisible infrastructure get before it reaches its breaking point? Think on that. And hey, let us know in the comments which everyday tech miracle you'd like us to explore in our next explainer. Until next time, keep learning.